Throughout the course of a school year, we try and take about 3 or 4 major pieces all the way through the writing process. And in doing so, we try and hit different domains of writing depending for different pieces. So one time it might be a personal narrative, and depending on what grade I'm working in, another piece might be an analytical piece. But I try and hit 3 or 4 that we take all the way through the process. And we do explicitly teach lessons on pre-writing and how to take your pre-writing into a draft. And as you saw today, how the kids share their writing and get material for a subsequent revision. And then later we do some explicit teaching of how to edit or proofread your paper. So it's a lot of explicit teaching through the process.
Well, I think for all students, especially the ELLs, it's just it adds more experience in the language. Having you do explicit lessons on each domain, especially revision, and having them see you think through the writing process, helps them to get their thoughts on paper. And then seeing it published is always a big pump for the ELL learners to see that they actually wrote something in English.
But she's taking a bigger risk by giving of herself. Can you think of any type of giving like that, where somebody's given to you like that, or you've given to somebody else like that?
Before they even start writing, we make sure that they've had some sort of experience that they can write about. So as soon as they go back to their seat, they already have an idea in their head.
Close my eyes, you know what I saw? There's so many different ways. A few weeks ago, the parent center had a bunch of parents come to the school, and it's called a School Beautification Day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was on a Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and all these parents, I think there were about 50 of them, came to the school on Saturday to help paint the school, to help plant, to help clean. They gave their Saturday up. They could have stayed in bed, right?
They wanted to help them.
That's a big type of giving.
Without teaching the process, you end up with students who have just a stream of consciousness kind of writing, and until they see the modeling of the different steps in the process, that's what their writing looks like. And so breaking it down for them is crucial.
I'm writing a literature log about how somebody helped me, or how I helped someone, how I gave somebody something, or how they gave me something. Mm-hmm. We have this story called Luella Song, and we're connecting Luella Song and our personal feelings with the literature log.
When they're not in our rotation for an IC, they'll spend some time writing a draft. When they come back to us, they share the draft and they get input from the other students about what's missing in their piece so that they can later take that piece, revise it, and improve it.
One day we were low on food, so my mom needed to go to the store fast. My baby sister was awake. I was doing my homework, so I told her that I was going to take care of her, and she thanked me. When she came back, she brought me something. I just gave it to my big sister and told her that I didn't need a prize. So I still took care of her while she made us dinner. She was very proud of me and gave me a big hug. That was the prize I really deserved. I liked that a lot. Then I started my homework and finished late.
Now you're running the group.
Ernesto?
I heard that your mom gave you a big hug.
Kevin?
At your work, low on food.
Raul?
And that your mom went to the store to buy food.
That you took care of your baby sister.
After the kids share, then they've listened. Basically, they say what they've heard, and then the next part is to ask questions.
What did you give for yourself?
The students, at the beginning will come up with real basic questions, who they want to know the person's name or when it was. But the students also take part in asking their questions, what they think should be in the piece to make it interesting. And then the teacher also asks them questions.
But didn't you say that, it wasn't night, it was before your mom made dinner, right?
Yeah.
But is that when you regularly do your homework?
Uh-huh.
Did you say that in your story?
No.
Okay, so then that's an important point that we're going to want to put in there.
And what the teacher's doing during that time is just writing down the questions that they've heard or adding the teacher's questions too. The students also get a chance to answer right then and there.
But what did it do for her? What do you think it did that she had the time to go and take care of these things when she didn't have enough food for the family for the dinner? Me?
I think that she felt proud of Ivan because when my mom had my baby brother, one time she left me and my mom was scared like you because I haven't done that before. I don't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So she felt proud of Ivan that he could stay long while she was cooking dinner.
Yeah, it certainly was a compliment that she thinks you're responsible to take care of the baby. Do you think he gave her the gift of relaxing her mind now?
Yeah, because it would have been harder for her because she would have to take the baby with her.
Okay. So I'm going to add here that he gave his mother some sort of relief.
It's a good way for students to realize that, that is important, and why didn't I have it in my writing?
Ran onto 2 pages, okay? I'm going to stick these on there and save them for when we do revision. They have the responsibility of integrating the answers back into their literature log for a revision. Now, once in a while that takes the form of a whole class lesson if I'm feeling kids are having trouble when they need a boost kind of a lesson on how to go about that, and that you really need to think about where these insertions happen, and other times it's done within their group independently. Tell me something that a good writer does. Ivan?
They make rough drafts.
Why do they do that?
So they could change. They could do any silly mistakes on the rough draft, and then when it's the final copy, it's well done.
So that good writers may write the same piece more than one time? Okay.
Think each one did right?
That's one of the biggest ones. I think if I had to say one word about what good writers do, it's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of thinking going on. I think from my previous experience, I have probably assumed that once we had discussed the different things that had to be added to a paper, I could send the students off and they would be fine to make the revisions. They knew what they had to say, and now they just had to insert it. And what I found is that wasn't the case, that they needed to, again, be explicitly taught how to take their questions and blend their responses into their piece. And it takes pretty much what I did today, where I show them that sometimes I could just put a carrot and add in some information, and other times I need to use like a footer to insert larger pieces of information. We shared my literature log, and my group had some questions for me that are going to help me do some revision on my draft to make it better. So I'm going to share with you the questions that they think will help me make a better draft. All right? Here's my giant Post-it. You have your yellow Post-its. Here's my giant Post-it, okay? The first question says, who is my friend? I should say who it is. Give the person's name. The second question is, when did it happen? They also thought it was important that I should include what kind of reading this was. Why this reading made me nervous, since they know I can read. Why did this reading make me nervous? Where in the first paragraph should it go? I have some suggestions. Brajan, where do you think?
It should sound like this. My friend's name is... Wait, no. I was asked to do a reading at my friend's wedding. My friend's name is Sharon.
Okay, I could put a sentence right here. that says my friend's name is Shannon. Would that work? Yes. Does it go together there? Yes. That's one way of handling it. Now, in writing, it's more like art. You have lots of choices for how you want to do something. So we're going to look at other people's options and decide which one is the best for me, okay?
Well, for revision, I'm really looking at mostly the actual message.
I was asked by my friend Shannon to do a reading at
Her wedding.
At her wedding. I'm going to have to make a little bit of a change here. At her wedding. What do you think of that?
That's good.
Wow, that sounded pretty good. But we practice listening to the sound. And for ELLs, that's a little harder. And sometimes I have to give advice about, well, in English, it sounds more natural this way. So sometimes I give a little support to the ELLs who don't have the sounds of the language quite the same. Where was it? Now this one could be a bit trickier.
Oh, I know.
We're deciding where we're going to put the idea that it was at the San Fernando Mission. Olga.
The wedding was at the San Fernando Mission.
Okay, that's great information, but here's the brain part. Where are we going to put that beautiful sentence?
When wedding is, make another sentence.
Here? So 2 years ago, I was asked by my friend Shannon to do a reading at her wedding. The wedding was at the San Fernando Mission. I see a lot of head shaking.
Yeah, that was
pretty good?
Yeah.
Samaya, you want to try something else?
No, but I have a question. In where is without thinking I originally answered yes, where's that gonna go?
It's staying. She's just saying add another sentence here. She's not saying get rid of it. Would that be okay? Okay. The wedding was at the San Fernando Mission. Now, I was thinking that I also had a couple other options. I might have decided somewhere here.
Yeah.
The night before the wedding, we had a dress rehearsal
At the San Fernando.
at the San Fernando.
That was gonna.
Oh, maybe I like that better.
That's what I was
That was
saying.
what I was gonna say.
You know what I do? Forget this. So do you see that when we revise our paper, it takes some thinking. You don't just slap sentences wherever. You have to put them exactly where it makes sense for your reader. Because that's why we're writing it, so someone can understand our writing. If you don't model it for them, you're really rarely going to see them do it in their own writing.
Modeling is definitely the key. I find that a lot of students, even myself, when you write, you tend to think that you've included everything because you've had it in your head. And when the students actually revise and they see the questions, sometimes they actually say, well, I did answer it. And you say, but where? And they actually reread it, and it's a surprise to them just as it is to us that it's not in there. And you have to show them how they could get it in there so that their piece is exactly the way they want it to be.
After I thought about it, I started getting worried.
Yes.
Maybe.
I like it on
I
the bottom.
kind of like this one. Maybe. Just a little maybe. Let me try here. Where was I? Here.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. Let's try it here. 2 years ago, I was asked by my friend Shannon to do a reading at her wedding. Without thinking, I immediately answered yes, knowing it was an honor to be asked. After I thought about it, I started getting worried. I wanted to say no and make up some excuse, but I knew I couldn't.
Yes, perfect. That's the one I want. Yeah, perfect.
I'm in agreement with you, Brejan. Right there. Right there. And the reason why I like it, because of the connection from the worry to my uncomfortableness.
What I'm looking for is that they make a significant attempt at improving the quality of that piece, whether it be through deletion of redundant material or the insertion of missed information. So I'm looking that they advance it in some significant way.
These are the questions that the other students gave me so I could make my literature log better. First, I take the easy one and then try to find where it goes best in my story. And then we add them, and then we copy them again, and then they'll turn out better.
Do you remember when the group asked you that? What did you answer?
Oh, I had to sing classical music.
Perfect.
It helps me to know what all the information I need to put in my writing.
Because the first time you just don't think of everything.
Yeah.
Now that you have your revisions finished, we're going to work on editing your papers. And that's something we've been doing all year long during dictation and during other writings that you've done. What an editor does is they work at putting the final touches on their writing. I think in the past I've done the proofreading and editing a little too soon. And if you're starting out with a piece that's not good, why polish it? You end up spending all this time on commas and periods and correct spelling, and you're later going to get rid of it because it wasn't good writing to begin with. So I really save that for the very end. So here's my first sentence. It starts here and ends here. Let me read it to you. I know I see some hands like you already have seen a mistake. And then we're going to go through our 5 questions, okay? It's very, very systematic. It's broken down to a sentence-level analysis where they're looking at the beginning of the sentence, the end of the sentence. They're looking for basic things, capital letters, misspellings, and whatever punctuation that we've covered through our dictation units, we're looking that they use those rules, that they are able to find those mistakes within their sentences. Last one, is each word in the sentence spelled correctly? If I did them all right, your thumb goes up. I should see every thumb either pointing up in the air or down. I'll wait till every person's decided if they've been spelled correctly.
Yeah, sometimes Miss Lorenzo in the mornings, let's say she gets one of our writings and she puts it up on the overhead and then we correct it. That helps us, it helps the person learn and it also helps others to learn. So when we write, we don't do those mistakes that Miss Lorenzo did.
Chris, you going to help us?
It's past tense.
It's WORRIED.
There you go. Good job.
Literally, they have to go letter by letter, punctuation mark, period, capitals. They have to take it very slowly to find all of their mistakes. And at the beginning of the year, it's a struggle. Kids will say they're finished while there's still plenty of mistakes.
And that's part of the reason why we break the process down at a sentence level, because if we gave them a paper and said to edit their paper, they would find 3 or 4 mistakes, said I read it and be done with it. So it's important to slow them down and give them a system that they can manage. If the piece was particularly long, I probably wouldn't let them go through that process in one day. I might have them do it over a course of 2 days, just so that they really slow down and attend to each sentence.
We read the writing and look for mistakes and stuff. Like when there's mistake, they correct it. Sometimes they can't find any. They go to a person and ask them to correct it for them.
So do all the kids use this in your writing, or just you two?
Everybody.
Really? Everybody uses it?
Yeah. Like when we get in a group, we read our writing, and the kids and some of the students told us what do we need and stuff. Like we need a comma, punctuation, capital, and there's some spelling things too.
Each word in this sentence spelled correctly? No. There.
There?
Yeah.
There.
There is the wrong there.
They. What? Where are we?
Down here.
There was so much to remember.
See, the wrong there is THERE.
No, I.
No, like if it's THEIR, that means something that's theirs. Like it's there, because it says right there. There belongs to someone or something.
That's what I mean, because of the I.
But nothing belongs to them. See? Yeah. So it's THERE. Yeah, T-H-E-R-E. Yeah, what's the next sentence?
So it sounds to me like it like helps everybody.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
That's good. Well, you do a lot of cool stuff here. You like this class?
Yeah. I want to stay here forever.